Hello students, my name is Dr. Anil Kumar Maurya. I hope you are learning a lot. I am assistant professor in Faculty of Law, Banaras Hindu University. For further learnings, you can refer my other modules, which is titled as Biosafety and Legal Issues. Topic for today's presentation is energy laws. Energy, as we all know, is the need of the hour. This is in almost every society, every country. Energy is the backbone. Without energy, the man's life in today's context is not possible. This rapidly increasing energy demand and its growing concern about the economic and environmental consequences, it calls for an effective and thorough energy governance, not only in India but across the world. We have been trying at the national and international level to govern the energy sources, to how to better equip our energy resources, how to better distribute it, how to better conserve it, how to preserve it. And to better understand the energy dynamics in Indian context, we need to understand the energy policy framework under which it has been enacted. There have been three policy objectives which the Indian government has followed. The first is access to energy. As we all know, India is a developing country having a maximum number of its population living below poverty line, and it still does not have access to energy. So, providing access of energy to all the citizens is the first policy objective of the Indian government. Nearly 1/4 of our population is still living or is still lagging behind from the energy sources. And secondly, energy security. Energy security in India refers to the increasing demand of ours on the imported fuels. We are increasingly dependent on the imported fuels which we buy from various different countries. These energy security is also a major concern for our policy framework. Thirdly, mitigation of climate change at one hand is also our policy objective, energy policy objective, because we have been a party to various international agreements in which Indian government has considered to the demand of emission of carbon and to actively participate in mitigating the climate change. All these three policy objectives of access to energy, energy security and mitigation of climate change, these are not in close coordination, but they can stand in direct conflict with each other. For example, providing easy energy to each and every one with the means of coals and oils may stand directly in conflict with the mitigation of climate change. So, our policy objectives, having three policy objectives, they are not well cordial with each other. One policy objective may stand in direct conflict with another. India's energy policy has been broadly categorized in commercial and non-commercial category. This commercial category, it consists of the nuclear energy, coal energy, coal, oil, thermal, hydroelectric power and nuclear energy. These sources of energies are commercial in nature. At another hand, we have non-commercial energy sources like solar energy, wind energy, thermal energy, geothermal energy. These energy resources are non-commercial. The commercial and non-commercial resources of energy, they stand the resources of commercial and non-commercial resources of energy. As we can see in our society, the commercial resources, they have a clear dominance over the non-commercial energy sources. Why they have clear dominance? Because of the policies of the Indian government, because the policy of the Indian government is to follow, policy of the Indian government is enhancing the industrialization, and for that matter we need energy. The institutional role of the government and its ministries, I mean there are various ministries which are dealing with the energy in formulating and progressing energy policies, is the another subject matter which are to be seen in our policy framework. India's policy objectives, as I told you in the previous slide, that it is further categorized in three parts: energy access, energy security and mitigation of climate change. All these three, as they are in conflict with each other. Energy access. Energy demands of India is increasing and a significant number of population has no access to energy. Nearly 1/3 of our population is still immune, is still excluded from the energy benefits, and for that matter it is needed that the Indian government have to do a lot to provide energy access to all its citizens. Various steps have been taken in this regard by the Indian government. However, these steps has a miles to go. One such step is rural electrification scheme introduced by the government of India to provide access of electricity in the extreme villages, in the remote villages. Second, energy security is a central figure of government policy making. India's concern for the energy security is threefold. First, energy is a lifeline to all the citizens, which need to be factored into its energy security strategy. And secondly, an anxiety of sudden increases in global energy prices may also affect our energy security, because they undermine the availability of energy and exacerbate the national financial burden, as we have seen at various times that any conflict in Gulf countries or any conflict in Syria and some other countries has a direct bearing on the prices of the fuels. And thirdly, there is a concern about the possible abrupt supply system. This has direct nexus with the ongoing conflict in various countries, and because of this ongoing conflict and the increasing demands, there because of the nexus between demand and supply, the prices may go high. Third is the climate change. This policy objective of the government of India is in direct competition with the rest of the two objectives. The impact of the climate change among the Indian policymaker is not is always necessitated. It has been accepted by by our parliamentarians and our lawmakers that the climate, that there should be certain measures there should be certain measures to deal with the climate change. However, we still have our priority to the economic and social development. This fact can be corroborated from the fact that India is a party to UNFCCC. However, being the Annex II country, India does not accept the international attempt to reduce the carbon emission. India says that most of the carbon emission they are being done by the developed countries, and the developing countries has meager role to play in the climate change, and therefore it is the developed countries which must reduce their carbon emission, and India need development, and therefore India cannot reduce its carbon emission. Having said that, in India behaving like a responsible country, it has enacted National Action Plan on Climate Change in 2008 and said that will accept the carbon emission, and it has told the United Nations and the international community that by 2020 India will reduce its carbon emission from 25% to 20%. Institutional structure of energy administration in India, as you can have a look at this slide. Government of India at the top, working through Niti Aayog and empowered group of ministries. These ministries, there is separation of ministries. So far as energy is concerned, Ministry of Power has a different role to play. Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas is there, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy is there, Ministry of Coal is there, Department of Atomic Energy is there. All these departments and the ministries, they have their own public sector undertaking working in that particular field. As we can see, the Ministry of Power has 6 PSUs and it works through Central Electricity Authority and the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Different other ministries have different number of PSUs, like Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas has 15 PSUs and so on and so forth.